The crypto market is crashing. Is the bear market finally starting? This is NC Hammer Crypto. My name's Neil, where we keep technical analysis short and sweet. And if you have not already, please like and subscribe, as 73% of you have not subscribed, but you are watching my stuff. So with that being said, we have Bitcoin. It broke this downward trend line, and we see it pushed upward similar to these orange bars in the background. We have the upward trend line being built, and in previous history, looking at the orange bars in the background, we had some type of higher low being built right around this area before it had a little bit of consolidation and then the push to the new highs. So with history repeating itself and Bitcoin trying to hold some support, most likely we'll not see 108 again or the 200 EMA for a little while at least. Obviously it'll come and retrace, and when it does retrace, we'll start seeing more altcoins being bought up with the Bitcoin money, and it kind of flows down from large cap, mid cap, small cap. But for those of you who are here for XCN, this video is going to include it, and XCN is still testing that 200 EMA. It's tested it twice or 3 times now. Once, twice, 3, 4 times, and we are building support on this black upward trend line as expected above the 0.01 price point. I believe we do still have liquidity that needs to be grabbed down here, but it's less likely that we are going to be collecting all of that. I believe we are going to be starting to push this up towards this 200 EMA and this downward red trend line. Overall, the RSI looks healthy on the daily. Zooming in. Oh, and as for the crypto market crashing, no. I don't know if I said that. I don't think we're going to see a massive crash, but we did have that pullback, which is healthy. Looking at Bitcoin, it is necessary. Could we see some liquidity grab? That is a possibility, as RSI is pretty healthy, but I believe we're going to be going back over that yellow line, at least testing it, a little bit of consolidation before breaking over it and starting to be overbought. That kind of controlling the market. Looking at XCN in the 4 hour at 0.01 is where we are currently sitting. Some major rejection right around here, which we could assume from previous history. Right in this area, there was some support to test that 200 EMA, tested that higher low, and then pushed upwards. We need to get past this point of 0.013 to start seeing that upward momentum, but we don't want to see any quick movements, as it will require some heavy retracement. But right now in the 4 hour, we are oversold, which is a more accurate time frame than the daily, which is why we zoom in and zoom out of the charts, kind of seeing the best opportunities. And with the 4 hour, we are building a little bit of support, and we essentially need this to start pulling back, which would be considered a little bit of consolidation, and pushing over this yellow trend line, zooming out into the daily. It is less threatening, but we are right in the little bit of oversold area. Main thing in the daily is we are wicking off, and we could see this start pushing back up with Bitcoin's decision to start moving in the upward momentum. For XCN, essentially it's been the same thing for this past week, for those of you who keep coming in to watch about XCN, but for the most part, it's got a long way to go to hit its all-time high. This chart only shows 10 cents. All-time high is 18 cents. And if you're putting it in at 1 cent, I mean, that's a no-brainer. You are buying at an absolute low. I don't believe this thing is going to be going any lower than this green bar. However, in other charts of XCN, if I pull it up in crypto, we can see a different outlook with this one candle right here on the 14th of June, 2022. We see it tap 0.005, and it was way up here at 0.08. So you could expect a little bit of sell-off somewhere in this area, 0.0 0.8 to 0.0 or to 0.10 cents, because there can be a flash crash, but it also could be bought right back up and shot to the new all-time highs. So it could liquidate a lot of people, buy a bunch of people who missed out on the major pump. But XCN overall, breaking this downward trend line is the most important thing that it needs to do, and crossing over that 200 EMA at the same time for XCN to start taking off. Moving over to Torn, I'm just going to toss in BNT as well. But Torn, I was talking about buying it even at $14. It did have that retracement, but as you can see clearly, once we made it over $11, this is some pretty major support as it came down, tested this upward trend line, had that support, and then tested this $11 mark with some major support, trying to hold within that CM guppy, keeping the 200 EMA close. This thing is preparing to start pushing the other way. And if you look at the chart on an inverted scale, this black trend line right here, this major one, I can't grab it, but that black trend line is some major resistance for Tornado Cash. It's going to be not going much lower than the $10. If it does retrace even more, the 200 EMA is going to start slapping this towards the other direction, which is going to be towards $27 and beyond, all-time high being $459. You can trade Tornado Cash on MEXC. There's a reference link in the description below, and if you use that reference link, you get 10 USDT free. So don't miss out on the opportunity, as we entered in at 750 on my Signal channel, and we have been up over, well, I guess it's about 80% now. We're not really worried about exiting Tornado Cash at this moment, as it is doing a bunch of green signals. It is starting to be oversold very rapidly, which gives us more volume, more momentum to start pushing this back up towards the $39, $58.93, and to the $4.59 for the all-time high. I brought up in the last video, Bunny Exchange got hacked, and the hacker used Tornado Cash to wash the money so he could not be tracked. So obviously there are good use case scenarios for it, whether it's good for, the hacker, not so much for Bunny Exchange, but Tornado Cash has its benefits and is highly recommended, but not financial advice or money laundering advice in any way whatsoever. Moving on over to BNT though, holding up on the 200 EMA, it did break out of the downward channel, but it is getting some support there, oversold in the RSI, and this is exactly where we'd expect the entry. Last time we pushed under the 200 EMA for a little bit, but immediately came back up for support. Now we pushed underneath, but are holding above the 200 EMA. We could expect to start seeing that push up towards this downward trend line and breaking out of that to the upside for BNT. It's currently 67 cents. Just last week it was up here at 77, so it is on discount, and the all-time high being $20, I believe. Yep, $20 for 67-cent investment. Not a bad bet for BNT. Don't miss out on that opportunity. That's it for this video. I got a lot of other videos to do apparently. But like and subscribe, and good luck. Have fun with it. I will see you on the next one.